The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey there, everyone. What's up? Paul James here, coming at you with a update. So before I get started, give me a quick yes in the chat box if you can hear me okay, and we'll go ahead and get started. I got some cool stuff to share with you. A lot has been going on with the whole Google Plus Local thing. I see we got a lot of people still trickling in, so I'm just going to wait a little bit and let those people come in and fill up here. But I like to start out by asking, where's everyone calling in from? I always think it's awesome that, people call in from all over the world when we do these webinars. So, hey, Malcolm in Melbourne, welcome. Southern California, we've got Ken from Las Vegas, Larry from Henderson. Awesome. San Francisco Bay, Texas, Georgia, Boston, Las Vegas, Florida. Very cool. Derek's about an hour and a half from me. Where are you from, Derek? Which part? Tons and tons of you on here. Awesome. Chicago. Awesome. Yeah, I'm not too far from Chicago. Awesome. So this webinar is going to be, straight to the point. I'm going to show you kind of what's changed, and we're just going to go over some stuff. It's not going to be too awful long. I'd be surprised, honestly, if we even get to 45 minutes because we're just going to go over stuff that's changed. It's not going to be a long, drawn-out training. So let me just find out before we get started. How many of you guys are familiar with Google Plus Local or Google Places? If you're not familiar, just tell me I'm not familiar with it. I just kind of want to know how much I'm going to have to go over. I'm guessing probably almost everyone on here is probably somewhat familiar with it or at least heard of it. Okay, a couple not. That's cool. Well, I can give you a quick rundown of what it is fast before we jump into what's changed, because I think it would be helpful if you understood what it is. So basically, if we come into Google, for example, and I were to just type in the search phrase dentist, you're going to see what happens is I'm presented with this 7-pack of listings here, what I'm highlighting right now. So I'm sure you've seen those before. You've probably went in and, I don't know, maybe the last time you ordered a pizza or something, you went in and typed it in and saw this. This is what was called Google Places a long while back, and then Google Plus Local. And now guess what? They changed it again. Google, they're always changing things up. So this is what it is. What we do, what my company does, is we take local business owners who aren't in this 7-pack here, and we work with them to get them ranked on this first page. And when we put them there, we actually build out a brand new website for them so that we're not relying on their existing site. I do that for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is because in case their site has any penalties, I just don't want to mess with that. And reason number two why I do it is because I brand the website domain name to something generic. So for example, if I was going to work with Paradise Dental Professionals, I would brand it kind of like they did to West Bend Family Dentist. So why I do that is because I charge these customers $1,000 per month. They pay me to rank them, and then they pay me to keep them there for $1,000 per month. And if they ever come back to me and say, hey, Paul, I'm not getting any leads from you, I can say, okay, look, you are getting leads because I'm tracking it with call tracking. I can provide them with that report. But if they're still, they're just being a problem or whatever, I can just take that website, disconnect it from Google Plus, and I can easily go to their competitor and say, look, Paradise Dental down the block from you was getting 30 calls per month and they don't want them anymore, apparently. I'd like to, sell them to you. And it's just a matter of me switching over the tracking phone number, just forwarding it off to, a new number. And then I just need to rebrand the website, switch around the logo, switch around the pictures, and all the work that I did on the website and stuff doesn't go to waste. It wasn't for nothing. So essentially, I'm leasing them that website, which is why it justifies that $1,000 per month payment. Does that make sense to everyone? So $1,000 per month, they get placed here. We see huge conversions with it. I mean, The fact that the phone number shows up right in here, the fact that this shows up on mobile, the fact that this shows up on regular search results, and the fact that I'm from West Bend, Wisconsin, it knows where I'm from. So even if I don't come up here and type in Dentist West Bend, it's still going to show the dental clinics near me, which is really cool. And then it also has the social proof with the reviews and the 5-star rating, which really, really helps boost conversions. Awesome. Evan says, good tip. Glad you like it. Thanks, Evan. I'm just going to go through questions really quick before we jump into what's changed. If there's anything that doesn't make sense with what I just talked about or what I'm doing to, monetize this whole system, just put it in the chat box right now, and I'm going to go through quick and answer questions. Okay, I see Google Places ranked. Is the website ranked on the first page also? Well, that's the thing. Usually Google Places and the website are connected. I mean, you can see here, West Bend Family Dentist. And if I wanted to go to the Google Plus page, I would click this link. And that'll take me to, this business's Google Plus page. But if I click on their name, that's going to take me to their website. And sometimes, sometimes they'll show up twice. Like they're right here. And then it also looks like they're right here too. So sometimes that happens. But really, I'm just concerned with getting them into this 7-pack here, because that's honestly where we see the most conversions. Okay, what about the street address? You're just going to use the company street address. So the Google Plus page they own, the website you own. You build out a new website that you own. So you can easily go into Google Plus and you can edit this website and change it to whatever you want. And the fact of the matter is, if you disconnect the website from their page, they're probably not going to rank. They're gonna de-rank immediately almost, because well, not immediately, but within a week once Google updates it. Because the work that we do on the website is the reason why they're ranking. That work that we've done is why they're ranking, because it's so well optimized. So that work isn't for nothing if they decide to leave. And to be honest with you, clients rarely decide to leave. If I get a client who isn't getting what I expect them to get in call volume, then I just lower my price. I mean, if it's a matter of me dropping down to $500 per month because they're not getting as many calls as I'd like them to get, then, I'm going to be fair about that. And I'm not going to take a hit just because of that. So I'm not going to lose a client over that. Okay, who controls the actual account? Good question. So usually what I do is I create a new Gmail account for every business that I'm going to work with. And what I do is I request access to manage that page if they already have a page up. I can show you how we do that as well while we're on this webinar. Otherwise, if I have to create a new listing, I create it under that account. So if they ever decide not to work with me anymore, it's just a matter of giving them the login information to the new account I created. Not a big deal. Or they can request to manage the page too. Okay. Just going through more questions. Does Google remember you and tailor the results to previous searches? Sometimes, yeah. Over here in the right-hand corner, you're going to see there's a little person icon up here. And this is going to be the search results that they remember. But if you click this little world icon here, that's going to be, what everyone else would see. But you can see, in my case, it's still pretty much the same results. Paradise Dental is still number 2 here in the 7-pack. They're still here. So yeah, that's a good thing to keep in mind. So currently hiding private results, you'll want to select that. Otherwise, it'll just say show all results. So otherwise, the other thing you can do if you really want to make sure is you can come into Chrome and hit File and hit New Incognito window. And this will, hide you from everyone. So those 2 things will make sure that doesn't happen. How do you control their Google Plus? We'll get into that. How many citations do I go after? I'll get into that too. Jimmy says, Paul, does your proposal state that the website is leased to them? It does. They're very clear that what they're getting from me is a service that's going to rank a website and use their Google Plus page and rank them in the 7-pack, and that they're going to be leasing that site for me along with a tracking phone number for $1,000 per month. Why do you need a website? Rod says, because the website is connected here, and the website is what we're going to use to make this listing rank. We do specific things to the website to make sure that it ranks. Okay, a lot of people asking about recording. I can't guarantee that I'll have a replay out, but I'm going to try. So I'll definitely try to do that. Okay, Anthony's asking a good question. For us marketers who have a brick or who don't have a brick and mortar business, can we get a Google Plus page? Meaning, if you work from home. That's a good question. So there's a lot of niches where they don't pop up a 7-pack like this. And a good example of one that I can think of off the top of my head is graphic designer. So just do a quick Google search, and if your niche doesn't pop up a 7-pack in your area, then it's not going to be something that you're going to be able to go after, or you're going to be able to create a Google Plus page in. Okay, just going to go through more questions. It looks like we're almost through them, and then we'll jump into changes. Okay, so once the business is in the 7-pack, you're not going to want to approach them, Martin is asking. And yeah, Martin, that's right. So once they're here, we don't really want to work with anyone who's here. We want to work with people who aren't there, because we want to get them there and have them see a huge impact in what we did for them. We want their phone to be ringing off the hook. So we don't want to go after anyone who's there. We want to go after people who aren't there yet. Okay, Rick's asking a really good question. That is a big misconception. Rick says, is the first place on Google Local, meaning where West Bend Dental Center is, the best place to be? Is that what we're aiming for? So let me take a little poll here. If you were to come to this page right now and you were to type in dentist, which one would you most likely go ahead and maybe look into a little bit more, or maybe call and schedule an appointment? Based on these results that are pulled up here, which one? Just type in the name, or just type in 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, or whatever one you think. Okay. The majority here says Paradise Dental, the one with the 5-star rating. So that goes to show you don't need to be number one. You just need to be the person who stands out. So if you can find these low-hanging fruit niches where, not many people have ratings, like these reviews here, you can easily come in here, and it doesn't really matter where you are in the 7-pack. My guess is they could probably be somewhere down here, and they're still going to get 95% of the calls just because of that alone. But of course we want to strive to get them as high as we can, but it doesn't really matter, and I don't guarantee that. I just guarantee I'll keep them on the first page. Okay, yeah, Garth says I read the reviews before I call anyone. Yeah, that's sometimes the case. I think 79% of people will actually take a review that they read online. They'll believe it as much as they believe a word of mouth recommendation from a friend. So reviews are definitely an important piece of the puzzle here, no doubt. Okay, am I redirecting the phone number to a Google Voice number? Actually, what I do is I head over to this website, callfire.com. And this works if you're in the US. If you're not in the US, Twilio is a good option. And I believe they have, Canadian numbers and Australia and United Kingdom numbers. So Twilio is a good option if you're over there. But if you're in the United States, here where I am, Callfire works really good. They charge $3 to set up a number, and then $1 per month, I believe. And they have some other pricing plans too, but I think that's the pay-as-you-go pricing, which is what it was when I signed up a while back. So they offer you, a brand new phone number. You take that number and you just forward it to your client. So no answering the phones, no doing any of that. It just automatically transfers. It tracks the duration of the call, what time they called. It tracks how long they're on the phone, who called, all that good stuff. So you can send the report off to them, at the end of the month. What do we need to do to get a 5-star rating? So to get this 5-star rating, I'm typically seeing that you need to have 5 reviews. So typically 5 reviews will do this. It used to be 10 a while back, but that's one thing that's changed. Now it seems to be only 5. So I can't say 100% for sure, because in some niches that I've been in and some locations I've been in, it takes 10, but most places it takes 5. Okay, does the 7-pack only show up when the searcher is using Google Plus? No, I'm not using Google Plus. Well, I mean, I have a Google Plus account, but it shows up right inside of regular Google, and it shows just local results, places that are close to me, because it can tell by my IP address, where I'm from. And that's what's cool about the mobile phone too. It shows up on a mobile phone. So if you're on vacation, it's going to show on that phone when you type in hotel. It's going to show hotels to wherever you are based on, where your phone is. So it's a really cool thing. Okay, once you get them on the first page, how much work do you have to do after that? Actually, you don't have to do much work. I mean, honestly, you probably spend like 2 or 3 hours a month to keep them there. And it just depends on the competition. If there's no competition, you might not do anything. If there's a lot of competition, you might do things like add in citations and stuff, which is basically the business's name, address, and phone number on another site. So you might find other sites where you can put their info on, and that'll help maintain the ranking. Okay, there's a lot of questions coming in. That's good. I like interacting, so. Okay, I think what I'm going to do before answering more questions, because they're just coming in one after another. So if I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry. I'll come back to answering questions again really soon. So, just, keep asking them if I don't see it. But I want to talk about what's changed, because I keep saying Google Plus, and Google Places. And to be honest with you, a lot of you may have gotten this email, but it's not called Google Plus or Google Places anymore. You can see they signed it at the end of this email that I got, the Google Places team, and it says now Google My Business. So Google Plus Local, Google Places, what it used to be called is gone. It's called Google My Business now. So they changed it again. And there's some things that happen with the change that I want to go over with you. So typically, for those of you who have been on a webinar with me before, or who have purchased something from me before, you remember that when I wanted you to create a new listing, I had to go to this URL. It was google.com/local/ad, right? And when you would go there, you'd be taken to a screen that would let you sign up. But now we're presented with our pages, and it doesn't give you the option to, really sign up a new account. So you can use that URL still too, and I'll put it in the chat box. You can use that URL to still access your existing pages, but you can't use it really to add a business, or you shouldn't. The best way to do it now is to head to this URL. It's google.com/business. And I'm going to paste that in the chat box too. So this is the URL you're going to go to when you're working with a new company and you need to either verify their listing or request ownership over it or create a new listing. You're going to go here, google.com/business. And you're just going to click this button. Again, new Gmail account for each business you work with. Then come here, then hit this blue button that says Get on Google. So now we're presented with a screen that looks like what it used to look like on that other URL. And this is now where we're going to be working out of with Google My Business. And you can see it looks a little bit different. They changed the logo and it says Find Your Business. So what you would do from this point is you would type in the company that you're working with. You can type in, their business name, their address, or their phone number, or a combination of those. And you can search to see if they're already there. So there's a couple different scenarios that we come up with. Number one is the scenario where we search for a business. And I'm going to type in a phone number here. We search for a business and it finds it. It looks like this. And when we click on it, it's going to ask if we're authorized to manage this business and if we agree to the terms of service. And then we hit continue. And here's what's going to happen. It's going to say we're adding your business and creating your Google Plus page. And now it's going to ask me to verify. So when a business is already there and you click it like that, 9 times out of 10, they're going to give you the option to phone verify this business, which is good because that happens instantly. So if you're working with a client, call them up and say, before you click this, call them up and say, hey, I'm going to have Google call you right now. They're going to give you a 5-digit PIN number. Write it down and call me back. And then you can punch that in. But a lot of times they won't give you that option. A lot of times they give you this mail verification option, which basically they're going to send a postcard to the address of the business, which you can see that right here. And that takes 1 to 2 weeks to come. I'm guessing since they just switched to a new platform, it's probably going to take longer than 2 weeks because they're probably going to be backed up now. But that'll come in the mail, same thing, open it up, have the business owner write down the PIN number and give it to you or call you with it or just give you the postcard. And then you can verify it that way. So that's one scenario we see, and I'll show you a couple other ones. Another one we see, I'm going to type in another phone number here, is same thing. We see a business pop up, but when we click it, it says someone has already verified this listing. Okay, so this is when a business owner has already come in, they've created an account maybe in the past, or maybe they had someone else create it. And what happens is you need to request administration rights so that you can work on this listing. And this is what someone else was talking about, who actually owns the listing. So Google actually owns the listing. We can't, this is their property. But as far as like the owner is the actual one who owns it because it's their address. So we can't really control if, you don't pay me, I'm keeping your listing. I mean, you can't do that. But what you can have control over is the phone number and the website. So that's where we keep the control. And quite frankly, the website is what determines, who's going to rank anyway, because it's all about what you do on that website. So from here, we just request these admin rights. The owner of this business or whoever had verified the listing will be sent an email, and they just need to click a link in that email and we'll have access to it. So that's the other scenario you'll see. The last one you'll see is when a listing doesn't exist, when a business owner has never been on here before, and when you need to create a new listing. And what that looks like is, I'm going to type a phone number in here. That looks like this. It just finds nothing, and then it gives you this option here, which we'll click. And now we can enter it in. So this looks a little bit different. Again, those of you who've had some experience with this know that this doesn't look quite right. I mean, it looks pretty much the same, but there's a couple of changes I want to go over. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to type in the business name. Let's say it's Bob's HVAC. I'm going to type in the street address. Again, for those of you who don't know, there is one rule that you really have to follow and you can't break it, and that is no PO boxes. You cannot use a PO box with this method. It will not work. So find an address, find a friend's address, rent a virtual office if you have to, even rent an office if you have to. I mean, I don't know, around here offices are like $500 or $600 a month, and if I can get a business owner 30 calls a month, it's worth renting an office for that, right? So find a way to get it done. Pay someone on Craigslist to use their address if you have to, but bottom line is you need an address. And if the business owner has an address that you can use, that's great. That's what you want to do. If they work in a big office building, like many businesses do, they're going to have a suite number, and that goes on the second line. So you'll just put like suite 123. Don't abbreviate this. Don't put like STE. Google will probably do that automatically, but it's important that you spell it out all the way. Otherwise, just go with the number sign, and that's going to be okay too. So that goes on the second line. I'm going to delete that though. And then we'll put in the city, and then we'll put in the state and the zip code, and then the phone number. And you can change this phone number later. So if you haven't set up a tracking phone number yet through CallFire, that's fine. Just pop in their regular business phone number, and you can change that after it's verified. It won't hurt anything. So the other thing here is categories. That's one thing major that had changed with the last update. Not this one, but the last one, is they didn't let you pick out your own categories anymore. So in the past, we were able to come in here and we were able to, if I was an HVAC company, I could come in and put furnace repair service or something like that. And I could just make up whatever I wanted, best furnace repair service. Now they have predetermined categories, and you have to follow exactly, what they have available. So what I normally do is I just pop into this box here, and I'll just start typing in what I think people might type in if they were searching for me. So I typed in like HVAC, and you'll be presented with a drop-down menu with choices of what you can use. So What I recommend you do is research all of them, write them down on a notepad. So I would write down HVAC contractor, research heating. So I would write down heating contractor. I could write down these other ones if they fit. I'll try furnace. I could write down these. Air conditioning, I could write down those. So you get the point. I would write them all down on a notepad. And right now we can only have one category, but after we verify, we'll go ahead and take those other categories that we wrote down and we'll punch them back in after it's verified. But for now, just select the one that fits most and just write the other ones down for when you build out the website. So then there's this option. I deliver goods and services to my customers at their location. This is something that's changed a little bit. When I used to click this, it would provide a drop-down menu. Now it doesn't do that. So for those of you who don't know what this option means is, for example, an HVAC company, which stands for heating, ventilation, air conditioning, they're typically going to customers' houses, right? Because they're not going to bring their furnace or, central air conditioning unit into them. They go to their location. So you would want to check this box. But watch this. When I hit continue now, we're provided with another box. So this is a little bit different. It's more of a user interface change than anything, but they also give you the option, I also serve customers at my business address. So a good example of a company who would be checking both of these options would be like a flower shop. They're going to be providing deliveries to like funerals and weddings and stuff, and maybe to people on Valentine's Day or birthdays or special occasions. But at the same time, they're also going to have people coming into their flower shop and looking at stuff. So that would be an example of when you would, select this option. And then you can also pick what zip codes you service if you want to punch them in and add them in individually. Or a much easier way is if they serve a certain radius around their business, you can just say, okay, my client serves a 20-mile radius around the business. So you can just select that. And then from there, we just hit continue. We hit, I'm authorized to manage this business, and I agree to terms of service. And same thing. Now this is a little bit different. It didn't used to do this part where it says we're adding your Google Plus page, but now it does. It creates your Google Plus page as soon as you hit that button. So they're giving me the option to mail me the code, which is almost always the case when you're creating a new listing. You almost never get the phone verification. I'm just going to hit continue and verify later. But you can see here's what happens. You may want to go through this little tour that they give you. But what happens now is they create the Google Plus page right away. So with Google My Business, the page is created immediately. Whereas it used to be you verify first, and then you would create the page after you verify, and it would merge them together. So I think this is a good thing because we're not having to take multiple steps to make this work. It all just happens at once. And actually, if we head back over to this google.com/business page, there was a frequently asked questions tab here. And it says, what's the difference between Google My Business, Google Places for Business, and Google Plus Dashboard? And basically they say Google My Business makes it easier than ever to update business information across search, maps, and Google Plus. So basically they just made everything easier for us, which is great. And, we can come in here later and we can edit all of this stuff. And once we verify, we would hit this verify now and punch in the PIN number. But you can see some stuff is locked, like the reviews, and those are an important factor to, getting ranked. You want that 5-star rating, so you want 5 reviews, and that's something that's not going to be unlocked until you actually verify. Okay, so those are the main important things that have changed. Another thing that may have changed since you last watched my webinar, and some of you who are part of my mentorship group, you already know this part. It's something different that I've been doing with the website structure. But my website structure, I've changed just a little bit. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So this is kind of my silo structure that I stick with. And basically, those categories that I had you write down, you're going to use those to fill in not only this gray box, but the orange boxes on top. So for example, if you had only 3 categories, then this entire, I'm trying to find the annotation tool here so I can show you this. This entire column, for example, if you only had 3 categories, would be gone because you wouldn't need this column. So then you would just have this would be one category, the home page, and then you have these 2. So that's how it would work. On the other hand, if you had 4 total categories, then you would have one up here for your homepage, and then the other 3 categories would go right beneath it. So basically, the way your website is structured and set up is you're going to have your categories at the top of the silo, each silo, and then below it you can go with any keywords you want, keywords that you find in the keyword planner. But the bottom line is, you see all these arrows here. These arrows signify how the site is interlinked together. So, this category is going to have links on it for all 3 of these categories. And then so on and so forth. If I were to click on this page here, that's going to have a link going to this page. And that page is going to have a link going to this page. And that page is going to have a link going to this page. And when you get to the bottom of your last silo, you just simply link it back up to the top. So this is just a simple reverse silo, but what we're doing is we're keeping our most important links at the top, or our most important keywords at the top, which in our case are these Google Plus categories, right? Because we want to show Google that we're the authority figure for these categories, which they've already determined. And we want to say, look, we're the authority figure for these categories. Here's how our website is structured. We're showing you that we're the authority figure. And then, everything kind of works from there. If you structure your website like this, you'll find that you're going to have a really easy time ranking because, the competition just isn't that great with this stuff. You're working against local business owners who typically have no idea what they're doing. So, you're not competing on a national level. You're only competing in your area. So unless they hire a guy like me or you, they just, they have no chance. So follow this structure and you'll be good. And I'll show you, let me delete this stuff. I'll show you what I do. I typically just draw it out on paper. And another thing that I do differently than maybe you're familiar with is I used to say don't add the geo modifier on the end of your categories and keywords. And by geo modifier, I mean like your city or state. So now I've been adding that in, and I've been seeing good results with adding it. So, automatically at the end of every keyword or category that I put in to my website, I just throw on my geo modifier, which in my case is Milwaukee. So I just take it and draw it out on paper. You can follow this little diagram that I have up here, and you can just follow this and draw the arrows out yourself in the boxes. So basically, each box that you see is going to be a separate page on your website, and each arrow is signifying a link to that page. So on my heating contractor Milwaukee page, there's going to be a link on it that's going to go to heating and cooling Milwaukee. And you would use heating and cooling Milwaukee as the anchor text for that link. Okay, so any questions so far? James says, is there an opportunity to join my mentorship? Yeah, James, I'll give you an opportunity. Let me go through some more questions and we'll talk about that. Okay, question regarding geo modifier. What if you have several important areas that you cover? Good question. Well, number one is most likely your Google Plus page is only going to show up in the 20-mile radius around your business or 30-mile radius. But in the bigger cities where they have kind of these sub communities, like Milwaukee might have several parts of their town, like they have the 3rd Ward district or whatever. And in that case, what you could do is you could silo out one for that location. So maybe instead of doing air conditioner repair Milwaukee, I do that certain location, whatever it may be, or that community, and I do the silo on that. Also, you could just swap out on your keywords. You could just swap out the city there and put something else. So you could do that. Or if they have another location, you could just build out another Google Plus page or another Google My Business page. I've got to start correcting myself because I'm still saying the old terms, but another Google My Business page for that location if they have a separate location. Okay, I'm going to go through more questions here. Okay, what do you do if your client's address is in a smaller city but they want to rank for Milwaukee? You go and get a hold of a Milwaukee address. So again, whether you have to rent a building physically for whatever it costs per month to rent it, whether you have to rent a virtual office, whether you have to pay someone on Craigslist to use their address, or you have a friend, that's what you have to do. Okay, what do you do if Google only gives you one category option? Good question. What I would do is I would take all the keywords, like these 8 keywords that I have highlighted at the bottom. These aren't categories, these are keywords that I found in the Google Keyword Planner. If you do have a company that only has one category, which would mean that the only one that they have is their homepage, what I would do is I would take all of the keywords, like for example, I would take heating and cooling Milwaukee, and I would just go into Google and type in, heating and cooling Milwaukee and see if it pops up a 7-pack. And it doesn't. It pops up a 3-pack, but that's good enough. Just because it doesn't pop up a 7-pack doesn't mean you can't work in that industry. 3-packs are fine, and whatever. That doesn't matter. But the bottom line is, as long as you see some local listings, I might consider making that its own silo if I didn't have enough categories. So if you only had one, go do research on all your keywords, give the ones that pop up a 7-pack, give them their own silo. Okay, Max is asking a really good question. For the website, are you creating the content, and how much content do you need for the website? I do create the content. I outsource a lot of it to like iWriter.com and EpicWrite.com. But you need 300 to 500 words on each of these boxes. So each keyword needs 300 to 500 words. And content is king. Don't keyword stuff. If you can say heating contractor Milwaukee only one time in the article, because that's just how many times you can say it without sounding stupid, then that's fine, okay? But if you can say it 3 times and it sounds good, that's fine too. So I'm not big on keyword density. I'm big on content, and I want it to read good because that's the most important thing. Okay, why do I not link things from the bottom up? Because I want these to be my most important things. So, for example, if I were to send a backlink to heating contractor Milwaukee, or let's just go up at the very top level. If I were to send a backlink to my homepage, this is going to be the first thing that gets to the link juice, right? That's the first thing the link is going to touch. But then immediately after, it's going to touch the heating contractor, or air conditioning contractor, air conditioning repair service, and furnace repair service, because the link juice is going to immediately flow to these 4 pages, which are my Google Plus category pages, which are the most important thing to me. So that's why I've got it structured this way. It's all about how link juice flows throughout the site. And you can see, if you follow the arrows, the link juice continuously flows throughout everything. So I keep my least important things at the bottom, things that don't get a lot of searches. Those stay towards the bottom. And my most important ones, like my categories or my keywords right here maybe that get a lot of searches, I keep those towards the top of the silo, because the ones towards the top are going to get the most link juice. Margaret says, loving the diagram. Awesome, Margaret. Okay. I'm just going through more questions. What website template do I use? I use my own template. It's called EasyWP Local. All right. How many articles do you suggest for silo pages? Just 1 article per page is all you need. 300 to 500 words. Okay, now I have to log out of my own Google account first and then set up my Google business. Yeah, I typically recommend that you create a brand new Gmail account for each client you work with. And then you can head over to that google.com/business link. All right, so on this example, there are 13 pages. Yep, there are 13 pages on this example. Are you building this site for a client, or are you building it independently even if the client already has a website? Even if they already have a website, I'm building out an entirely new site with a generic domain name so that I can lease it to them, because I don't want to touch their existing site. And plus, it's a win-win, because you don't want them saying, well, I already have customers coming to my website. How do I know that they weren't already there? Well, now you don't have that objection anymore, because you built out a new site, and this is your site that you're leasing to them. Should there be a contact us page or about page? You can have as many other pages on the site as you want, just don't interlink them together. only interlink these pages the way I showed you. But that shouldn't stop you from putting other pages on the site as well. How long does it usually take to rank in the 7-pack? It usually takes about 3 weeks after verifying, 2 to 3 weeks after verifying. So let me find out here. I just want to take a quick poll again. How many people here are doing Google Plus Local right now? Just put a yes in the chat box if you're already doing Google Plus Local or if you have some clients. Okay, it looks about 50-50. For those of you who aren't doing it, how come you're not doing it yet? Is it just because you're just finding out about it, or why haven't you started? I'm just curious. Okay, need help doing other services, need good resources. Someone says lazy. Okay, well, at least you're being honest. Still learning. Okay. I'm just going through the chat box again. Someone said it looks like it got even easier, and yeah, it did. I mean, they really combined everything together, and it's just a lot easier now, which is nice. Doing SEO, well, this kind of falls under the SEO category, if you ask me. Pretty much SEO, just a little bit of tweaks to it. Okay, I see a lot of people saying they need a salesperson. So some of you are struggling to get clients with it. It looks like. Okay. So a lot of people were asking about my mentorship program that I had mentioned, and I'll go ahead and tell you a little bit about that. If you're interested in my mentorship program, before you go here and fill this out, I'm going to give you the link. But before you go here and fill this out, just know that I only have a few slots open. It's very tight knit, and I can only work with so many people. So I want to make sure that I'm only working with the right people, and there is going to be a cost associated with it, obviously. And it is a little bit of a hefty fee, but at the same time, it's not as much as you might think. In fact, during the program, a lot of people come out of it with 2 or 3 clients, $1,000 per month clients. So when you look at it that way, you're gonna recoup your investment back during the 6 weeks most likely, and you'll even make additional money. So it really is a good bargain for what you're getting. So if you're not getting clients yet with this, or you just need more help to get started, I want to help you. I want to help you get clients. I want to help you land your first client. I want to help you land more clients. And during this mentorship program, we go through the entire process, how I set it up, how I rank it. We rank it with you. I show you my client funnel. We set that up with you. So if you're struggling to get clients and you need clients coming to you, I'm not talking about, cold calling people. I'm talking about people who actually are interested in what you have and want what you have, and they understand that you're the authority figure. I'd like to teach you how to do that. I'd like to teach you how to get those clients coming to you. And, just ask yourself this: how many $1,000 per month clients would you need to be making what you're making right now at your current job or whatever you're currently doing? Ask yourself that. How many would you need? If you want to hit a 6-figure income, then you only need 8 to 10 per month, right? And those clients are going to be paying you every month. Okay, so if you want to go there, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who's going to take action and do what I tell them to do. They're not afraid to put in the work, because I like to hear big success stories with this. This is different than me just giving you a series of videos and having you go at it. I'm working with you one-on-one to help take you to where you want to be. And if you want to land some clients and you want to do this, then I want to work with you. But that's what it's going to take, and that's what I'm looking for. So go here and fill out this application, and I'll be going through them, and I'll be picking out a few people to work with. So that's in the chat box. It's pauljames.com/need-help. Okay. So now that that's out of the way, I'll go ahead and go through the questions. How much is it? We'll discuss that, if you're picked. But like I said, through the program, by picking up a client or 2, you're going to recoup the cost and then some. So, okay, is there a change in 7-pack? Okay, you're referring to the carousel. I'll show you. I'll show you what Scott's referring to. When you type in a restaurant for the 7-pack, you're presented with this carousel, and this shows up for restaurants and also hotels. You're presented with this carousel, and it's still a 7-pack. It just shows up a little bit differently. So that's why you're seeing that. Martin says this is the only way to be successful and sold to this program. I appreciate that, Martin. I look forward to checking out your application. Don says I've been through Paul's program. Definitely worthwhile. Lots of attention and interaction. You'll get a much better understanding and be more confident. Thanks, Don. It was a pleasure working with you too. I really appreciate that. Okay, I'm just going through more questions. So if you guys have them, throw them in there. Yeah, Scott. So the carousel is the 7-pack. That's exactly what it is. It just is presented in a different way. And obviously, in this example, there's a lot more than 7. Okay. I'll stay on and keep answering questions until you guys are done asking. So feel free to just keep typing them in. I'm just going through them. I see a lot that I've already answered. So if I missed your question and I didn't answer it yet, just put it back in. Can you convert a Gmail account that was used as personal account to a business? I'm not sure. I mean, you can definitely use your personal account, but I wouldn't recommend it, and I wouldn't recommend using the business owner's personal account either because they probably don't want you to have access to their emails and stuff. Do you use added domains for my lease sites? I'm guessing you mean age domains. And you can use age domains, sure, but most of the time I don't. Age domains are really good for getting a jump start, though. Normally I use age domains for, like affiliate sites. And if you have the time to research an age domain and you find one that's going to work for, your niche, a lot of times with the local market, if you're working with a client, who's in Milwaukee and who's a dentist, might be hard to find an age domain on that topic. So, but if you can, yeah, definitely do it. Do I get clients by personal visit or how? No, I get clients. I rarely meet with any of my clients. 95% of them I never see face to face. In fact, I'm in Wisconsin, and a lot of my clients are in different parts of the state, throughout all different parts of the state, nationwide. So, or the United States, I should say. I normally stay in the United States, but I also have clients in the UK too, and in Canada. But you can work with people anywhere, and it's all about getting a funnel set up. You guys have purchased internet marketing products, so you're familiar with funnels, right? You come to a squeeze page, enter in your information. What do they try to do? They try to upsell you to something else. And usually they try to upsell you to something that's a little less expensive because you don't know them yet. They want to build up trust. And then from there, they normally upsell you something a little more expensive. Well, it's the same concept with local marketing. Send all the traffic through my funnel, and then I let my funnel do all the hard work. And by that time, they're reaching out to me. So again, this is something we go over in the mentorship program. If I do pick you to work with, that's something we go over. So again, pauljames.com/need help. Okay, I'm going through more questions here. What to wow the customer with? Wow them with 30 to 50 calls coming in every month. I don't know about you, but I don't think any business owner is going to be like, no, I don't want those 30 phone calls of people who want to use me. Okay. Need to allocate some time and space to this? Definitely. Yeah, definitely allocate some time to this. This stuff works. I've been doing this for like 3.5 years, maybe 4 years now, full time, back when it was called Google Places. And this is what got me going. I don't know how many of you know my story, but I was working for a heating and cooling company and got laid off from them at a pretty young age. I had worked there from the time I was 15 to maybe about 20, somewhere around there. And what I did was, I got laid off and I ended up having to move into my brother's garage. And I didn't really know what I was going to do. And I decided to enroll in nursing school because I thought I could, get a degree pretty fast and get a decent job. But as I was going through nursing school, I liked it at first. I liked the science behind it. But once I actually got into the clinicals, I didn't like it so much. I found out it wasn't really my cup of tea. And I had racked up like $35,000 in debt from school, um, which is a lot of money to me at the time. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I was kind of stuck. And I came across an ad for making money online that basically I ended up buying, and it didn't have anything to do with local marketing. Instead, it had to do with affiliate marketing and ranking websites in Google. But I took those concepts that I learned, and it led me to find out about Google Places. And I went back to that heating company I worked for and worked out a deal with them where I was able to use them as, my guinea pig to learn how to do this stuff, to learn how to use Google Places. And I used the foundation I had built in that product I bought, and I ranked them in Google, and they saw huge results from it. They hired new employees, they bought new trucks, they bought new equipment. And from there, I mean, I was hooked. I picked up a dentist after that, and things just grew really fast. And in 3 years, I was able to buy my first house, and I was able to buy a nice car. I've got a Mercedes-Benz SUV, and before that, I was driving like a '93 Maxima that couldn't even get me to school every day. It was awful. But I mean, that's my story, and I did it all with Google Places. That's how I started, and it's easy to do when you pick up clients. I mean, $1,000 per month. Realistically, how many $1,000 per month clients do you need to live the lifestyle you want? That's what it really comes down to. If you're willing to put in the work and the effort into getting them, this is a service that you can provide to them that gives tremendous value. I'm all about providing tremendous value, whether it's something I'm doing with local or whether it's something I'm doing to you guys, my customers who I'm teaching this stuff to, which is why I do webinars and stuff like this. You don't see me promoting products very often. It's not because I don't like mailing out products. It's just because I like to provide value, and that's what I like to do. So I think Google Places and what's now called Google My Business is the best value you can provide to a customer, and you're going to get them killer results with it. And for those of you who are familiar with, what like the Yellow Pages charges, the Yellow Pages charges like $3,000 a month in my area, and I'm sure in like, maybe in like California and those types of areas in New York, they're probably going upwards of $10K a month and maybe even more. And if you're charging them just $1,000 per month, no one's looking in the Yellow Pages anymore. People come online. I'm sure you come online when you need something, you search on Google, and that's what everyone else is doing too. So it just makes sense. Okay, I'm going to go through more questions here. On the chart, does this mean that on the home page it has links on this page to each 4 top pages? Yep, that's exactly right. And then every other page links to the next one. You just follow the arrow. The arrow signifies a link to the next page. So set your site up like this and you'll be golden. What about off-page SEO? Regarding off-page SEO, we do citations, which is local directories, meaning like Yellow Pages. You put the company on local directory sites, their name, address, and phone number. And Google considers that off-page SEO for local businesses. In really, really competitive markets, you can do backlinking campaigns, but 9 times out of 10, you don't even need it with Google Plus Local. That's the beauty of it, or Google My Business. That's the beauty of it, because the way you structure the site, like I'm showing you, and because you're dealing with just the local market, these are all low-hanging fruit. So, you're not competing with everyone on a national level. So typically it ranks. Okay. Am I seriously able to help get 8 to 10 clients at $1,000 per month each? I'm seriously able to help. I'll give you the foundation you need. Many people come out of the mentorship program with 2 or 3 clients, and then they have everything they need to continue growing from there. So I seriously am able to help. I'm doing it. I do it for people every day. Don is in here. He attested to that. He's part of my coaching group. And, I've done it for lots of other people. So I certainly can do it for you too. Yeah, Rod, you can check what citations a business has. There's a tool out there called WhiteSpark. You can go ahead and Google that. It'll actually go through and pull out what your competition's citations are, and you can actually go after those same ones. What are the best keywords to use for pages? I just go into Google's keyword planner, just the one that comes with AdWords. It's the free tool. Google AdWords keyword planner. I just go in here and just do some simple keyword research. Okay. Yeah, always good to keep business and personal things separated, definitely. When you see a listing that says manage this page, what does that mean exactly? That means that you're not the manager of the page and you just need to request to be if you're working with that client. And it'll shoot them an email over asking to authorize that, letting them know if they want to authorize that or not. So if they authorize that, then you're able to manage it. How do you put the tracking number in Google My Biz? You head over to Google after it's verified. Head over to google.com/local/ad, and you're going to click on Manage Your Page, and then you're going to come up here and hit Edit, and you just come down here to the contact info, hit Edit, and bam, punch in the tracking phone number, and that's it. And this is also where you could put in your new website that you build. Delete your old one and put in the new one, and you're done. Do I teach how to rank clients' YouTube videos? I do cover that in my mentorship program. That's actually part of my funnel. Okay, if they have more than one location, you said to make another Google listing, would you also recommend making an additional website? Yes. So if you're going to do a new location, I would recommend doing another website. But there's also, I'm going to show you a good example of this. Anytime Fitness is a good example of this. Do you see how their website still goes to anytimefitness.com, but they have separate pages built out for each location? So you could do it like that. You could do subdirectories, maybe put a separate WordPress install in this subdirectory, and then you could silo out a whole subdirectory just for this location. So that's a good way to handle it. Do you tie the Google My Business account to the leased website or the clients? To the leased website. How do you knock out those in the 7-pack? You don't knock people out. Well, I mean, unless they're 7 and you're going to be coming in, you're going to knock one person out. But you just place yourself in there. So one person's going to have to go, but not everyone. Okay, did I say how much the mentorship costs? I didn't say how much it costs. That's something I'll discuss with whoever I choose during the application process. But because I'm going to be helping you land some clients, you're going to recoup that cost that you pay, within the 6 weeks and probably even more. So if you're serious about this and you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to, if you got a job, you're willing to spend a couple hours and work on this, during the week. We meet for an hour for the calls every week. And then I also have 2 call-in days, which again, I'll discuss this with the person applying. But in addition, the work that you're going to need to do is about, 3 or 4 hours a week. So if you have another job, you need to be able to dedicate 4 or 5 hours a week to this. So again, I'm just looking for specific people who are ready for this. If you're not ready for this, I can appreciate that, and that's fine. This is not for you then. But if you are ready for it, then I can help you. I want to help you. So that's kind of why it's set up the way it is. Can I show my funnel? No, I cannot. That's something that I would show to those who come into the program. It's a very kind of in-depth process. So I'm going to try to get a replay up. Yes. Tony is someone who's in my mentorship program. He's in here right now. He just says, if you truly want the 6-figure income, Paul's mentorship is the way to go. And it's really not that hard. I'm a true testament to this process. Thanks, Tony. I really appreciate that. Tony was just in my last group. He actually just came out of the program. So he's doing awesome. Really glad to hear that, Tony. Thanks. Appreciate that. Again, if you guys want to go to that, it's pauljames.com/need help. And I'll go ahead and put that in the chat box again. Do I call all my prospects personally or do you use a VA? That's up to you, whatever you decide to do. Again, these people who are coming to you are warm leads because they're coming through our funnel. So they're familiar with you, they know who you are, and they've reached out to you with interest. So it's not like a call that's going to be awkward or anything. So I'm a really good salesperson. I typically call them myself just because I enjoy it. Actually, I really like doing it. So it's just up to you, whatever you enjoy doing, and if it's something you want to do, you can do it. Otherwise, you can hire someone. Do I ever do a pay per lead service? Sometimes. Instead of charging the $1,000 per month, you could charge on a per lead basis. It's up to you. I mean, I don't know. I prefer to just know, whether I send 100 leads or 15 leads, that I'm going to have that $1,000 per month come in every month. So I like to know that off of this client, I can count on that $1,000 per month every month coming in. So that's just my preference now. Okay, if you already work with a customer and you have an old Google page created, you need to recreate a new one. No, you don't. They switched over everything to Google My Business. So it'll automatically switch over to this new platform. So if you head over to google.com/local/ad from your customer's account, you'll see it's already looks different. It already changed. Okay. Could you use Google My Business to rank a Rent-A-Serve site? Probably not, unless you have a client with it. Do the Google changes impact my lead finder software? No, they don't. Still working perfectly fine. Can I show you how to get in a 7-pack for real estate? Yes, I can. I work with real estate clients all the time, so I can definitely help you out in that area. Okay, going through more questions. There is a ton, so sorry if I missed any. How long on average do they keep paying me? They keep paying me forever, until I stop sending them leads, which, I don't foresee that happening anytime soon. So forever, as long as I keep sending them leads, they're going to keep paying me. Okay, do I normally use the city as part of the domain? Yeah, most of the time. You don't have to though. You could easily just say, if you're working with a heating company, you could say Reliable Heating Services or something like that, or Best Heating Service or something like that. So it's up to you. Google My Business page looks similar to a Facebook page. Do we need to add new info to it periodically? Yeah, they do have status updates now, and they've had this for a little while. And I recommend, you come in here, maybe a couple times a month and throw up status updates just so that people know that you're active. It's always a good idea to do that. Evan says they keep paying as long as they want to stay in business. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's really a good deal. I mean, they don't want to leave. If you can't find a keyword that brings up a 7-pack, do you not do anything in that market? That's correct. No 7-pack means you can't touch that market. You're not going to be, helping them in any way. Malcolm says lots of gold here, Paul. Thanks, Malcolm. I appreciate that. Okay, awesome. Well, I think we answered all the questions. Went a little bit longer than I thought, but that's cool. I just wanted to stay until we answered all the questions. So I appreciate you taking time with me tonight and coming on. I hope that this really helped you. Again, if you need even more help and you want to fast track things, you want some clients, hit me up, pauljames.com/need-help. And I'd love to chat with you about working together and getting things going. Again, I'm looking for very specific people. There is going to be an investment, but you're going to be, picking up clients during this, so you're going to make that investment back. If you're not interested in doing the work, I'm not interested in working with you. I want success stories with this. So If you just want to buy it just to, not attend anything, I'm not interested in that. You're just wasting both of our time. So I need someone who's an action taker. That's what I'm looking for. So thanks again, guys. I'll catch you later. And again, I'll try to get out a replay. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to try to get it out. I'll try to convert it and see what happens. So we'll catch you guys later. And thanks again.